Massive protests breaking out in Mexico City. More than 100 police officers were injured in these violent clashes outside of the National Palace. The unrest follows the assassination of a mayor who had criticized Sheinbaum's approach to fighting drug cartels. Demonstrators, many of them Gen Z, accused the president of ignoring cartel violence and rejecting U.S. help to combat it. Leonardo Falcon and Ignacio Gonzalez are here. They have a podcast called the Leo and Nacho podcast in Mexico, and we've had them on many times on Fox Noticias. I'll start with you, Leo. Why don't you just explain to the American people what is happening at this moment, because Mexico is in full revolt right now.
Yes, ma'am. First of all, good morning to the United States and good morning to you, Rachel. And what Mexico is currently facing is a national awakening. What we're looking at, what you're probably looking at in the screens, is a protest of the Gen Z movement in Mexico, where there are no parties that they are leading this. It's the youth, it's the Mexican people. It's not about the left, it's not about the right, it's about the Mexican people wanting the best for the country. And we're all together in this protest, we're all together for a better country, and we see it. It's beautiful, it's beautiful. We saw over more than 100,000 people.
And with that being said, you know, it really chokes me up to see the people of that country struggling to have a decent place to live. They're not fighting or protesting the government. They're protesting and struggling to survive the cartel, because cartel is committing such heinous crimes and killing people. They're also gotten into the government, which is over their head. So they're killing people in the name of the government, in the name of La Mexico, Policia. It's disgusting. It's coming over here. It's what we're fighting to combat from happening in America. We'll be talking about that. We're going to be talking about Gavin Newsom and one of his House assistants who are embezzling money and other things. And do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe. It helps my show and helps others to see it. And don't forget to leave a comment down in the comment box. And with that, let's get into the show.
We were actually there, so we're very happy of the people that showed up in the country and that they are pushing for a change.
Nacho, why are the Mexican people so angry at Claudia Sheinbaum, your president?
Well, in a country which you have 60 murders and 40 missing people a day,
Did he just say 60 murders a day? And this is a narco country, meaning it's governed and driven and monopolized by narcotics, the narco cartel.
every single day. Of course, they are shocked. They are shocked.
Yeah.
We, the youth, are really desperate because we don't see the light. The generations see the teenagers after this horrific situation. We decide to protest.
Yes.
Not with a flag of any political party, no, because they are killing us.
Yes.
That's the reality.
Not with flag.
Okay, so what do you believe that Claudia Sheinbaum is complicit in this? We've had senators on here, Senator Lily Tejas, who bravely said Mexico is indeed a narco state, and she said that Claudia Sheinbaum and her Morena party, the political party she belongs to, is in business with the cartels. Is that true in your opinion, Leo?
Or president?
Well, when we look at what Nacho just mentioned, when we look at 60 murders, 40 missing people every single day, the narco state of Mexico makes it pretty obvious that there's some things going on behind the curtains in the Mexican government.
Yeah.
This is sad, but what we look at here in the protest is that there's actually a noticing. There's actually a noticing of all of the Mexican youth, of all of the Mexican families, that they are saying, how can this be happening? And when you have such a big amount of the population mad, upset at what's happening in the country, something's going on. And that's when you have a protest like the one we had yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, people should understand, not only was that mayor murdered in public with his wife and his child there, but then a few days later, another mayor was executed. He was actually decapitated, his head placed on the hood of his car. This kind of stuff happens all the time. It's totally normalized in Mexico, and the Mexican people are sick of it. Now, President Trump, Nacho, has said, I'm going to take on the cartels in Venezuela. And of course, they're a transnational network, and that includes the cartels in Mexico. He has gone to Sheinbaum and said, will you help me? But her help appears to be very superficial, not real. What do the Mexican people want, Nacho, especially Generation Z? Because Generation Z is the one who is sort of fueling this protest. In fact, Claudia Sheinbaum printed out the names of all the Gen Z influencers like yourselves who were encouraging people to come out and protest, which is like putting a list out for the cartels. So tell me.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. They're putting the list, they're doxing them. And with that being said, do you see the similarity in how protests are happening here in America? And I'm not saying it's all being conducted by the cartel, but most of these illegals from Mexico, the Mexicans, they have grown up, and this is perfectly normal for their life. This is normalized in their life, their daily lives. There's nothing strange about it. Now, the Gen Zs, as this young man has just said, they're upset because 40 people a day are missing. They're coming up missing. The cartel are creating and committing heinous crimes against the people, heinous and unbelievable, terrible crimes against people. The same crimes they're committing here in America. The same crimes that all the young women like Lincoln Riley, and dozens of others. I'm sorry, I can't even think right now. I'm so upset at this, because this is the kind of violence that's being brought to America. And it's being condoned and sheltered and promoted by the radical left lunatics. And I believe a lot of it started from California. Gavin Newsom is one of the big promoters of this type of violence. And it's grown from him on down the line. And all I hate to say it's the border cities, but they're crossing the border, coming into America through these border cities. And once the Democratic Party has realized that these are our new constituents, we've run off so many American people. There's so many American people who refuse to vote for the far left radical Democrats that they need to find new ways of getting new people to vote. And this is it. This is the new voter pool that they are growing, that they're developing, that they're grooming to grow old enough and able to vote. We need them in America so they can vote. That's why it's so vital that we don't throw out any illegal aliens, because those people and their children and their children's children will be able to be groomed to be Democrat, or at least vote Democrat, and thereby help to get the Democrats back into power someday. It's almost like we're not even in America anymore. We're not even free. It's not even us against other countries or other kings, which is crazy, because we just had no King's Day. And if we just had no King's Day, oh, wait a minute, there is no king. That's why we have no King's Day, because there is no king. Let's watch this.
Do the young people like you want the help from President Trump's administration and from our military?
The Generation Z want peace. We don't care if that peace come with American flag in the left arm or the right arm. We don't care. We want peace. The situation we're living in Mexico is crazy. It's crazy, and we have a president who prefers to talk about influencers and content creators instead of fixing the real problem,
which is the
Leo
cartels.
said, which is the cartels.
Last word,
we
Leo.
don't know what the problem is. We all know it. But
you know that
she
the
prefers
problem.
to look the other way.
Correct. Last word, Leo. Do the Mexican people, does Generation Z Mexicans want President Trump to eradicate the cartels, even if that includes military
Gen Z.
work, military actions?
I think that's a great question, Rachel. And I think this question works for every single country that is facing such a big and important problem, such as in Mexico. When the Mexican people is in these conditions, when the Mexican people is desperate, as Nacho said, we don't care if it's Russia. We don't care if it's Russia. We don't care if it's the United States. We just want collaboration. We just want collaboration to end this problem for once and for all. We want peace for the Mexican people. We want growth for the Mexican people. We want the future Mexican kids to be in a state of peace, not in a state of war and in a state of insecurity. We don't want it.
And you know what? This is such a shining light of hope. The Gen Z in Mexico, hopefully, they're having new, strong thoughts about what peace is. And thanks to the internet, thanks to the ability, they can turn on their phone and see what's going on right here in America every second. The youth of today, even in Mexico, they have cell phones, and they this is their own little podcast right here. These people have their own news outlet. And that's what's changed so much in the world, and it is changing the world. It's not changing a country. It's changing the world. These people in the jungles of Mexico have the ability to turn on the news and see what's going on in America, and anywhere in America. They can zoom in on Central Park and watch a family play Frisbee and eat out on a picnic blanket and not be in fear of being shot by cartel or robbed. It's unfortunate that's not a true story in New York, but it is for real. With that being said, my nephew is here today. My nephew's here visiting us, and you know what? He's from Brooklyn. And all these stories I hear about New York are 100% true. He travels, he leaves the apartment only when he has to. Fortunately, he does work at home. He has a remote job, and he works in the medical field. But when he has to go to a store, he doesn't have a Walmart he can go to, so he has to go to 3 different little stores to go get what he needs. If he needs shoes, he has to go to a shoe store. If he needs groceries, he has to go to Mom and Pop's fresh produce store, and so on and so forth. But he is definitely in fear. When he goes, it's only in the daylight, and he lives on the, not the best side of town, but he says it's not the worst side either. And he likes to run, too. And good thing, he says, he belongs to a running club, so he's ready to run at any minute. Let's get back here.
Anymore.
Yeah. Well, you are our neighbors, our biggest trading partners. What happens in Mexico should matter to our entire hemisphere, and especially the United States. So we wish you luck, and we are really proud of the courage of your generation to stand up to cartel violence, corruption, and crime, and take that on in the streets. So good luck. Thank you, Leo and Nacho. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Rachel. We are going to win. Thank you. Have a good day.
Have a good day.
Got it.
I'm Steve.
Nacho, is that a Mexican thing? A hug? Or maybe it's just the way he's doing it. But she's right. We're proud and have his back 100%, because Mexico's is only as bad as the people who are running it are. And if the youth, the Gen Z, are coming out and able to step forward and stand up for what's right and stand up for what they know it can be as far as peace, they deserve everything they can get and everything they can fight for. We have another one here. We're going to take a look at this one here. And here we go.
The president of Mexico is furious. She's calling Mexican Senator Lili Tellez a traitor for coming on Fox Noticias with me a few days ago and saying this. Listen.
The help from the United States to fight the cartels in Mexico is absolutely welcome, and that is how the majority of Mexicans feel. The only ones who don't like that President Trump is sending help and trying to support Mexicans against the cartels are the narco politicians. That includes President Sheinbaum.
Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum responding, saying, quote, "It's not a minor issue that a senator gave an interview to a foreign media outlet calling for intervention." Here to discuss is that Mexican.
Yeah. And Scheinbaum is a crooked president, and this is perfectly normal. It's not acceptable, but it's perfectly normal. And with that being said, we're going to pay a visit over here in a minute to Gavin Newscomb and his aide, who just got racked up on 32 counts of fraud and embezzlement, lying to the cops or lying to Congress. And this is once again, my directive. The mission of this show is to talk about and expose the systemic and inoculant overtake of America's way of life by virtue of these rotten people. And this president Sanchez, or she's another rotten person, and she's been running Mexico, running it into the ground.
And Senator Lily Tellez. Senator Tellez, welcome to Fox Noticias. I'm just going to get right to it. Is Mexico a narco state?
Yes, it is. And we all Mexicans know about it. And Mexicans are afraid of
Real
the
Mexican.
alliance between the Mexican government and the cartels that have infested our nation.
What do we got here? Let me look at this a second. Tijuana cartel is the little one up here. The Beltran-Leyena organization. The Sinaloa cartel, that's the big green. Las Cobos cartel. The Piotr Vallarta cartel. And Jessico New Generation. What is this? Is this the young cartel? They're here and over here. Yeah, the blue, that little blue and that little blue. That's a little red one right there, isn't it? Wow. And they got their own like little countries. Here's Cancun. Is that the Cancun cartel? Is this Mexico? I think Mexico stops right here, doesn't it? Where does Sinaloa down here? The Gulf cartel, the green and the green. This is crazy. They're like their own little government, little states, their own little counties. Crazy.
Can you explain this alliance between the president, her party, the Morena party, and the cartels?
Yes, the party has financed, has given, the cartels have given so much money to these politicians, narco politicians of Morena, to get into office, to get the power. So they protect, the Mexican government protects the cartels. That is why President Sheinbaum doesn't want the strong American leadership to help Mexico defeat the cartels.
Yeah, you hear that? No, they don't. She doesn't want any help from her. She might sound like she does, so we think, oh, they're struggling so hard. Let's give them a break. Bullshit. That's not what it's about. That's not what it's about. And this sort of attitude is how the cartel carry all the way into America. They will put a knife to your throat and a gun to your head and then tell you how much they care about you and your family, and you're going to do this, and we're going to let you live. That's how much they care about you. I know.
And also, Sheinbaum doesn't want the rest of the world to know what is happening here in Mexico.
No.
We are on the steps to be the next Venezuela. She is aligned with Venezuela's dictator, with Cuba, and we are losing our country. They have destroyed our Republican institutions, the democratic state, and we must. I think we all Mexicans want and welcome the support of the United States to assist Mexican people against the cartels that have us all in this crisis with the traffic in fentanyl and migrants.
So her response to this, and I know this because her spokesperson came on our show in response to your interview, and they say, well, we just turned over 26 cartel members. We're working, we're sharing intelligence. What are they not doing? And why is she so resistant? She sort of speaks out of two sides of her mouth. We're working with you, Trump, and then she's chastising you for saying.
Yeah, exactly what it is, talking out both sides of her mouth. She's helping them turn over the cartel members. Those are the ones that's not paying her. There's a dozen of them. We saw the map. Sinaloa, they're paying her. So those are the ones she's going to protect, and she's going to protect them by trying to arrest, shoot, kill the opposing ones. And that's literally the game of war, the game of life in the great country of Mexico.
We need more help from the United States to crush the cartels.
Because she really doesn't want the help of the United States. She is lying to Mexican people, telling Mexican people that the United States will get in control of the whole country.
Right.
I never listened such nonsense from President Trump. What we have listened is that President Trump wants to help Mexican people against the cartels. Mexican people are suffering. So what they do is very, very little. We have huge narco politicians here in the Senate, in the presidents, governors. Mexico is a very dangerous place.
Well, that brings me to my next question, because you are speaking very bluntly, very clearly about Mexico being a narco state and the alliance and the connections to the president of Mexico.
And this lady better hope she has a strong enough security team, because the simple fact that she's broadcasting out on News Live, I don't know if they're live, but on Fox News, they get this down to Mexico. They get this, and they have YouTube in Mexico. They can watch this right in the jungle and see that this woman is now a target. She's put a target on her back and put her family at risk just by making this broadcast. It's disgusting. It is absolute disgusting. This is the same thing that we are getting closer and closer to facing in America. And it's not from Donald Trump. It's not from Donald Trump. It's not from the radical right. It's from the radical left lunatics. And this is exactly the level of lunacy that they believe and they carry and they want in this country.
Are you afraid for your life?
Yes, I am afraid. And the president has threatened me to proceed against me with criminal prosecution, to get me out of the Senate and get me in jail, just because I told you in this space and Fox News what is the reality of our country with the cartels. The cartels are dominating everything here in Mexico. They are in all the offices of the government, in the states, in the cities, and in the national government. God. So, of course, I am afraid, but I want people to know I will not step back. And I pray under God's guidance that we, the United States and Mexico, must work together to defeat the cartels and to get freedom for our country, for Mexico, to stop it from being the next Venezuela.
Senator Lily Reyes, a very brave woman indeed. Thank you so much for coming on our show and speaking the truth.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you.
You got it.
And she knows it. This woman knows that she is putting herself at risk, putting her life at risk by making this broadcast. And her family and her children, she's risking everything she has to make this broadcast. She is literally begging for Donald Trump to see this. She's begging for us to step forward. And you know, the thing is, Donald Trump can't say, we're going to do it. He doesn't have the ability to make an act of war. Now, he can continue to attack the cartel in a capacity of the war on drugs. He can, because we've been doing it, and we know he can. But the minute the government of Mexico says, no, don't, now he's going into a territory, crossing a line that legally he's not allowed to cross. I mean, forgive me here. I got a tear there for that lady. He can't cross a line where the government is saying, no, don't come into our country, except for by an act of war can he cross the border and start arresting people, killing people. And that's what it is. There's no arresting the cartel. That's not going to happen. Now, is it going to happen? Yes. Is it going to help? For the moment. But those who are not in jail they'll lay low, they'll come back, and they'll start breaking them out. They'll start holding innocent victims for ransom to release their head honchos, and so on and so forth. I think you know where I'm going with this. And it is it's a real thing, and it's horrible. It's horrible. This is the kind of thing that I hope we can prevent from coming to America. Really. It's not all the fascist talk that these Democrats keep saying about Donald Trump. That's all BS, and we all know it.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley.
Absolutely disgusting that this is happening like this. Gavin Newsom's aide, 32 counts. Cash windfall. Arrested and charged, indicted on
The FBI arrested California Governor Gavin Newsom's former chief of staff, Dana Williamson, at around 10 a.m. yesterday morning. A federal grand jury charged Williamson with 23 counts, including bank fraud, conspiracy to commit wire and bank fraud, and also conspiracy to defraud the United States and obstruct justice.
The former Newsom aide pleaded not guilty on Wednesday and was released on a $500,000 bond. The indictment alleges that Williamson, alongside former Health Secretary Javier Becerra's chief of staff, built a plan to siphon money from a dormant state campaign account belonging to Becerra.
Per the indictment, the reason for siphoning that money from the account was to pad McCluskey's salary. Williamson is also accused of illegally writing off $1 million in business deductions for things like private jet travel, luxury handbags, jewelry, and vacations in Mexico. There are four other co-conspirators listed in the indictment.
A spokesman for Newsom said on Wednesday, quote, "Ms. Williamson no longer serves in this administration. While we are still learning details of the allegations, the governor expects all public servants to uphold the highest standards of integrity. At a time when the president is openly calling for his attorney general to investigate his political enemies, it is especially important to honor the American principle of being innocent until proven guilty in a court of law by a jury of one's peers." Williamson.
Yeah, of course it is. And we're going to uphold that innocent until proven guilty. But unlike many people who have to be disclose a lot of evidence, when you get caught with your hand in the cookie jar, it's a little difficult. It's a little difficult to just overlook that. Well, yeah, you're still not guilty, even though we caught you with a chocolate around your mouth, cookie crumbs on the floor, and your hand was still in the cookie jar. But you're still innocent until we can show somebody else. So we know it's not just me. It's what I'm seeing.
Williamson's lawyer criticized the U.S. Attorney's Office for arresting her with no warning and accused them of grandstanding.
No warning.
Her lawyer, McGregor Scott, told the New York Times, "The only conclusion I can draw is this is the latest misstep taken down the wrong road by the Trump Justice Department."
The U.S. Attorney's Office hit back, saying in part, quote, "As a matter of course, both for the safety of officers and for the preservation of evidence, this office does not inform defense counsel prior to the execution of a search warrant." The U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of California, Eric Grant, said that the investigation started 3 years ago when President Biden was in office, which is, I think, very relevant.
This is a 3-year ongoing investigation. It started back with Biden. So it didn't even start with the administration, the Trump administration. It started 3 years ago.
Yes.
Information. They often execute searches at inconvenient times for the search party. Sometimes,
That's kind of the point.
Sometimes in the middle of the 10 a.m. isn't even that. That's not bad at all.
Not in the middle of the night.
No, they often do it in the middle of the night, and it's disorienting for people. So it doesn't seem like there's anything out of the surprising to me here. Obviously, presumption of innocence is important, but those aren't really particularly procedural criminal issues. That's fraud and corruption, using public money to buy handbags and take trips to Mexico.
Yeah.
That's some pretty basic stuff, and maybe they're innocent of it, and they'll.
Is that basic stuff? Yeah, you buying these $900 Gucci bags on the California credit card? Yeah, pretty standard.
Be able to prove that, but it doesn't seem like something that wouldn't have been charged except for Trump's sense of political vengeance. Am I wrong?
That's right.
No, I don't think you are wrong. This is one of those ones where when I first saw the headline on social media or whatever, I was immediately suspicious. It's like, oh, they're like attacking, or they're after Newsom, somebody who works for Newsom. Reading the details of it, it doesn't seem like that's the case, quite frankly. There are, as we kind of alluded to in the introduction, 2 other people related to this case.
I thought it was an ex-aide. I thought Newsom said she does not even work for the state anymore, because this happened 2 years ago. They've been working on this case for the last 2 years.
We have, I think they've agreed to plead guilty. They haven't actually entered the plea yet, but have agreed to plead guilty. As we did note, this began during the Biden administration, the investigation. The argument is...
Kamala orchestrated it then. The conspiracy runs deeper, my friend.
California infighting among Democrats is the cause of it all. But no, this does seem like there are allegations of the kind of campaign money related corruption that crops up in politics quite often. Of course, the woman in question is entitled to the presumption of innocence, entitled to her day in court. I feel we say that about, as we should, about every case that we talk about here. It is not proof of guilt to be accused of something.
But, I hate that I tease people. He has the luck of the Irish has got his back. I keep hearing the Lucky Charms guy. What are you chasing? I always want my Lucky Charms. Oh, stop it. The Irish man with the Lucky Charms on Austin Powers. Austin Powers with the guy that has the Lucky Charms. All right, I'm sorry, back to business. Where were we going with this?
Dr. Evil's headquarters is right over that next bridge.
Watching Dr. Evil's headquarters. And did I miss it? Where did I go? Is there any, this one here? Yeah.
A former top aide to California Governor Gavin.
Yeah.
That breaking news is in Sacramento. A former chief of staff for Governor Gavin Newsom is among multiple people facing charges in a federal investigation. Dana Williamson made her first court appearance today. Thanks for joining us at 5. I'm Lisa Gonzalez.
I'm Golston Dart. Now, she's facing charges that include fraud, conspiracy, obstruction of justice, and making false statements. KCRA 3's political director Ashley Zavala is standing by live right now with what we know about the investigation. Ashley.
Well, Lisa and Golston, we should start off by saying this is one of the most powerful and influential women in California politics. Governor Newsom's former chief of staff, Dana Williamson, just within the last hour and a half or so, left the federal courthouse here on a $500,000 bond facing serious allegations. She's accused of conspiring with Javier Becerra, who is currently a candidate for governor and the former U.S. Health and Human Services Secretary, conspiring with his chief of staff, Sean McCluskey, to take $225,000 from Becerra's political campaign account. Investigators say this happened between 2022 and 2024, which started before but continued while she was working for Governor Newsom.
And started before Donald Trump was president of the United States. Well, it was definitely between the first and second, but it was while Joe Biden was president, and obviously it was so blatant and obvious that even Joe Biden's FBI were able to find it or discover it, or they probably stumbled across it. However they did, nonetheless, the investigation started then and just progressing, continued until they had enough evidence and they're able to prosecute. And there's two other people involved who have already agreed to take the plea deal. That's usually how it goes. The one or two people who aren't 100% implicated or the masterminds of the crime, they will be pulled aside and made an offer in a plea deal in order to get a little more palatable sentence and in exchange for prosecution or evidence to prosecute and against the primary assailant or the primary suspect.
She faces 23 federal charges related to that, including wire fraud, bank fraud, obstruction of justice, and false tax documents. Williamson pleaded not guilty in court today. Her alleged co-conspirators, McCluskey and well-known Sacramento lobbyist Greg Campbell, have plea deals, according to court records. In a statement, Javier Becerra said, quote, "The news today of formal accusations of impropriety by a long-serving trusted advisor are a gut punch. I have voluntarily cooperated with the U.S. Department of Justice in their investigation and will continue to do so as California's former Attorney General. I fully comprehend the importance of allowing this investigation and legal process to run its course through our justice system." We did approach Ms. Williamson as she exited the courthouse today. Here's our exchange with her and her attorney. Should other California officials and people involved in the government be concerned now with this investigation underway?
Do you have any comment, Ms. Williamson?
No, you guys can contact my attorney.
Do you have anything to say at all?
Contact my
Ms. Williamson,
attorney.
do you have anything to say to Javier Becerra right now?
Damn, I didn't think I'd get caught. That's what she's got to say.
He called this a gut punch.
Gut punch.
Ms. Williamson, you have nothing to say with the 23 counts against you, alleging that you and co-conspirators funneled money from Javier Becerra's campaign.
Okay, thank you guys. I just said, please, you guys can contact my attorney for a statement.
You have nothing to say to the people of California, Ms. Williamson. Should Governor Gavin Newsom be concerned, Ms. Williamson? Should Governor Gavin Newsom be concerned?
Governor Gavin Newsom should always be concerned. And I think she means, are you going to roll over on him? Are you going to testify against the Gov? Because it's quite possible. Just as those other two are testifying against her, she could roll right over on the Gov. And I'm surprised he didn't break free and clean of it. I think he's got too much money for that. She's stealing a couple $100,000. I think Newsom's got too much money to be involved in that. Maybe $250 million, but not $250,000.
There's nothing else with the 23 charges. Should other government officials in California, other people associated with the government, be concerned here?
Sorry, I have no comment on that. Thank you.
This is a big case, sir. A lot of people could be involved. Dana Williamson was a very powerful person in California's government. There's nothing you can share at this moment.
Sorry.
Can you say when?
Push that button. He said, "Let me get out of here. Let me get out of here."
Well, she just referred. Okay, so you won't be her counsel.
There's somebody about me.
Now, we should note Governor Gavin Newsom at this moment, from what we know, is not involved in this case. A spokesperson for his office said, quote, while we are still learning details of the allegations, the governor expects all public servants to uphold the highest standards of integrity. Now, I did ask the governor's office if this is the reason why Williamson left his office last year in November of 2024. His spokesman confirming tonight that she was put on leave when she notified them that she was under criminal investigation. Reporting live here in downtown Sacramento, Ashley Zavala, KCRA 3 News.
Yeah, we haven't seen anything like this in.
Yeah, you know, it's crazy. They get to keep collecting their check most of the time. Most of the time. I know that Judge Hannah Dugan is still getting paid, and I don't think LaMonica MacGyver, I don't think she's even suspended right now. Let's see what else we got. We have one here. Let's see what's going on with Governor Newsom right here. This is new 2 days ago.
Los Angeles County is launching an investigation into State Farm's handling of insurance payouts after the devastating Palisades and Eaton fires earlier this year.
Oh, yeah.
The probe will focus on violations of California's unfair petition law after fire victims complained about delays, underpayments, and claim denials. State Farm says they are handling over 1,300 claims and are committed to paying customers what they are owed.
Staying with the Palisades fire, a new documentary coming out next month laying into California Governor Gavin Newsom and L.A. Mayor Karen Bass for deserting L.A. as it burned.
Disgusting.
We'll see how people with power accelerated this apocalypse.
It's the kind of thing what could have been if they were here quickly, and they just weren't.
The whole thing just burned right to the ground with the mayor and the governor within a block.
Republican political strategist and general counsel for Fix California, Katie Zachariah, joins me now. And Katie, look, we knew it was bad. I don't know if...
I thought the mayor was out of the country. I thought she just had an incidental trip. She had to fly out of the country while that was going on. Gavin, I know, was he looking for water because he didn't have any?
We knew it was as bad as this documentary makes it out to be. So, how bad did these two fail? And when it comes to Gavin Newsom, how the heck can this guy run to be president of the United States after this?
Yeah, exactly, Todd. It's a history of repeated injuries on Gavin Newsom's part. Look, he was warned by President Trump in 2018 that our reservoirs were low and he needed to do deforestation and brush clearance. That is exactly what has happened in the Palisades. And as that Chase building that man was referring to, that they were walking in front of, is really this staple building in the middle of the Pacific Palisades that Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass are standing in front of for a photo op while it burns. They didn't have enough resources. They had a very, very low budget fire department. Gavin Newsom, Todd, decided not to give the firefighters a raise. He vetoed a bipartisan bill just recently. This is not just negligence. This should fall under, honestly, like this beyond incompetence. Clearly, they knew what was happening. They didn't put the proper channels in place, Todd, ahead of time.
There was a hearing yesterday to investigate California's response to the Palisades fire. And one of the lead speakers was Spencer Pratt. Yes, the reality star guy. Watch this.
Yeah, malicious negligence.
These 12 people deserved to feel safe in their homes, but were instead lost in a fire that was the direct result of gross negligence and mismanagement by our state and our local government.
We've been forced to lead our own recovery because the city won't. We need federal intervention.
Katie, this hearing was led by Rick Scott. Rick Scott is the senator from Florida. Where are the California senators?
Right. They're not focused on fixing these problems, Todd. And these people are not getting permits to rebuild their homes either. So not only did their home get eviscerated, insurance is not covering it because a lot of these people had been kicked off of insurance plan, as the guy said earlier. And the California Fair Plan didn't come into effect or only subsidizes or insures homes up to a certain value. And in the Pacific Palisades particularly, these home values way exceed what California Fair Plan is willing to cover. So many of these people have left the area, are selling their lots at pennies on the dollar to big commercial developers. And you see this attempt on California's government to bring in low-income housing to this very dominant, beautiful area. Todd, it's a disaster. Gavin Newsom should be accountable for this, and this should be constantly on the news until he announces his run for president.
Yeah, this documentary, when it gets out, I think it's going to be very, very telling. He's going to have a tough time coming back from it. Quickly, before we let you go, DOJ suing California over the state's new adopted redistricting plan. Of course, we're talking about Prop 50. Now, California's going to say, well, if Texas can do this, why can't we? Because ultimately, this was a response to Texas. You're a lawyer, Katie. Does that argument fly?
Well, in reading the case, they're relying on the fact that they had a man named Paul Mitchell who went out and he decided to advertise that they were redrawing these maps on the basis of race, which is a violation of the Equal Protection Clause in the 14th Amendment. And you cannot use race as a predominant factor unless you follow this very, very narrow line of strict scrutiny, that it's very narrowly tailored, and it satisfies these specific requirements set out in Cooper v. Miller. So I think that what we're going to see, Todd, is they have standing to upend Prop 50 on the basis that Prop 50 was used and used to justify the maps based on race and race alone, and that is not constitutional.
Yeah, literally day one of constitutional law, you cannot discriminate on race. The fact that this guy, ironically named Paul Mitchell, this really is getting hairy.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the...
Crazy. Yeah, the fun never stops. And like I said, the behavior that's coming across America, the sweep of violence, the insane actions of politicians, that is so similar to that coming out of Mexico, isn't it? Isn't that funny? The protesting, the violent protesters coming on, and like I said, all the Riley Gates and all the heinous crimes that these illegal immigrants, these illegal aliens are committing in America is so second nature to them. That's how they behave back in their country. I mean, for crying out loud, they cut the head off of a mayor and put it on top of a car. I wonder, did he put it up there like the hood ornament? That's what they did. And that's not acceptable to today's youth, today's Gen Z in Mexico. It's obviously much more acceptable to what we know as old Mexico, because old Mexico has a lot more cartels that were running the place. And apparently they're running the place today too. And with the president bending the knee to the cartel, well, she's not even bending the knee. They're paying her. They're paying her. And the reports were, it's like she's talking out of both sides of her mouth. She asked the president for help, but then she doesn't accept it when he comes to the door. Oh, don't come in. You can't come in. You can't go shooting people in our country. You can't go do this. You can't go do that. She's only saying help because it appeases the people. But I'll be danged, the cartel is not going to catch her sending President Trump over there to get the cartel, to arrest the cartel, to kill the cartel. That they're not offering that. They're not offering that. But let me know what you guys think down in the comment box. Hit that like and subscribe button. And so you'll get them videos so you never miss a video. And I'll see you in the next one.